I mean, at this point, I've got an amp clamp on here. 1, 2, 3, please don't blow up. Damn it, I told you. It's in there.
This video is brought to you by Sporlan. Quality, integrity, and tradition.
We got a service call today on an exhaust fan not working, but look at this. They got problems here. There's grease running all over the roof. That's a fire hazard and it's acidic and could eat at the roof. But the complaint is that this exhaust fan's not working, and it's definitely not working. Why is it single phase? That's interesting. I thought these were all 3-phase. That's weird. Huh, okay, well, let's dig into it. All right, so let's see. Okay, it's not just a power switch. Let's open this up and see if we've got power in this box right here. It's crazy because this fan should have been 3-phase. It used to be 3-phase. I wonder why it got changed to single phase. Whatever, I mean, whatever. As long as it works, but let me open this up. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like it was 3-phase. It looks like it's always been single phase because we have high temperature wiring right here that has the jacket on it. It's like a cotton jacket or whatever. And there's a white and a black. Now, this looks like my wiring at some point. I did put a motor in this. I looked at it. The motor was replaced back in 2022. I don't know if it was this motor or not, but I know we put a motor in it. And this looks like my wiring going up. So the odds of someone using high temperature wiring running down are pretty slim. And then just replacing this, if you guys understand what I'm saying. So I think this is originally was a single phase exhaust fan. It's just odd because usually almost everything's 3-phase here. Okay, well, let's check to see if we've got voltage at these wires right here. And if not, we'll check the switch and then we'll go downstairs. They do have a motor starter cabinet downstairs where we could have a motor starter possibly. All right, so it is single phase coming all the way up. No power. No power on either side of the switch, and we're probed into there. No, nothing. So make sure the switch is turned off. I'm gonna put it back in, and then we'll go downstairs and reset whatever we need to reset. But it's important to make sure the switch is off so that way it doesn't try to restart when we're downstairs, because we want to be up here to see it restart. Now it's off, motor spins, belt's semi-decent. It's kind of crooked on there, but don't see any issues with that. It doesn't feel like it's hitting anything. But let me get this put back in. All right, so I'm up in the attic. They got a motor starter cabinet up here. Look at, I've talked about this years ago. This is their weatherproof enclosure for that gas, or for that light ballast. Is that? I love that stuff. The bottom of their AC right here. All right, so we come up here. They've got one motor starter that's tripped, exhaust fan 4. It's in the tripped position. We've got it turned off up there. It's set for like 10 amps. Let's go ahead and reset it. Okay, so we should have power up there now. I'm gonna go ahead and, it's buzzing. I think they have a motor starter. It's not making good connection across it probably. Let's get in there with a meter. We'll check coil voltage and then we'll check voltage drop across it. They might have something going on there, like a coil going bad or something. It's buzzing pretty bad. You can see it. Goes away. Yeah, something's a little off about that. We've got a good solid 118 coil voltage, so that should be fine. No reason why that contactor should buzz. Now let's check line 1 to 2, 120 volts. I don't know why there's 2 neutrals here, 2 neutrals. I don't know what they're running, something else through this guy. Let's go ahead and check across this. Oh, we have a straight up voltage drop. Oh, no, that was weird. It left. We had, like, I was probing this side of the contact right here and it was like 7 volts, but something's going on there. Let's check down here, see if we've got proper voltage coming out. $119 seems fine. Let's head up top, see what's going on. We should have power at the switch, but I'm starting by ohming out the motor. So I've got my meter leads to ground. We've got no resistance to ground on that leg or that leg. Now what about, and I confirmed it's accurate. Now what about across the windings? Let's see what we have. So we've got resistance across the windings. That's a good sign. So at this point, it's not grounded. We're gonna hook it back up and fire it up and see what happens. We'll put a current clamp on there and test it when we do that. Quick once over. I don't smell anything burnt in the motor. Belt, I tightened it up a little bit. This wiring in these things does tend to go bad, but I have no reason to believe it's bad yet. So in order to pull that wire out and inspect it, you gotta pull the whole conduit. I mean, at this point, I've got an amp clamp on here. 1, 2, 3, please don't blow up. Damn it, I told you. It's in there. It wasn't shorted to ground, but when I freaking did it, it popped. So that's what I get. But I mean, I had no reason to believe. I guess I could have put a insulation tester on there, but other than that, there was no reason to believe that it was shorted because we checked to ground, so it wasn't touching. It just must, once power hit, it must have touched. So okay, we're gonna redo this conduit right here, probably. Let's look and see how bad it is. Maybe it's just a matter of putting new wire in it. We probably tripped the motor starter again, which is fine. Again, I mean, in hindsight, I could have put an insulation tester on there, but I mean, do you really do that for something that I didn't see the need yet? I'd rather just turn it on. But I guess in theory, it could have caused more problems, right? If it tripped the main breaker, because this has a single breaker for every exhaust fan, then the whole system would have shut down. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a hit and miss. Let me ask you that's watching this right now. Would you have gone and got an insulation tester, or would you have tested everything I tested and then turned it on and seen what happened? I'm curious. Okay, so I'm just pulling out this wire. I don't know if this is the bad spot. Might be. There's a couple rep spots right there. Let's keep looking. Looks like it's one of these right here. Oh, it's right there. There it is. It's just rubbed against the end of the conduit right in here. Okay, I'll take this downstairs, get some more wire, get some more conduit. We'll redo that, make it look nice. All right, I'm pre-making this. We're gonna use 90s, but anybody else notice? I got this from Lowe's, the Southwire Titan 2 Seal Tight, the metallic. It is a nightmare to get the fittings on. Like, these ridges are way too big. I just ordered a 100-foot roll from supplyhouse.com, and I'm hoping that it's better stuff than this, because I know that Supply House has Southwire too. I'm hoping I can get a 100-foot roll of this stuff. It's like an absolute nightmare to get the fittings over. Stupid. Like this right here, for some reason, I cut it with a bandsaw too. That's how I cut my conduit, make it easy. But like, these ridges are really hard to get the seal tight fittings over for some reason. Don't know why, but whatever. It's doable. So I'm just wiring it up right now. I absolutely despised 90-degree connectors. Of course, you have to use them sometimes. So I had to use one on the other side, but on this side, I was able to route the conduit, I believe, in a way that I could do a straight connector into the motor, which is so much easier to work with. So we're all connected in here. I'm gonna button it up, put the resilient mount bracket back on, cradle mount bracket, and then drop the motor in, and then we'll finish wiring on the other side. All right, we are all wired in. Everything's tensioned. I ended up moving the pulley because it was a little out of cattywampus and not level, so I tightened it down, moved it to where it needs to be. We're good on that. We're ready to fire this up. We're allowed to run, let's look right here. I'm walking around in circles because I was just on this side. We're allowed to run 5.0 amps, really? That's it? Wow. 5.0 amps. That seems really low for a 115 volt motor. That's wild. All right, well, let's fire it up and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, don't blow up again. Ah, what's going on? What happened? I already reset the motor starter. Maybe it might have tripped a breaker this time. All right, yeah, I did have a trip breaker too. So I had reset the motor starter downstairs thinking that was the only thing that tripped. But it turns out it tripped the breaker too. So we're set up. 1, 2, 3. Please don't blow up. We're running 3.72 amps, allowed to run 5, so we're good. It's looking good. Yeah, I just not a huge fan of the conduit, but it's functional, it'll work. I'm gonna clean up my messes, get the covers on and stuff. You know, it's got dents and stuff in it, but I don't know. I don't think the fan needs to be changed just for that. You know, exhaust fan calls can be hit and miss. Sometimes it's a bad motor, bad belt. In this situation, it was an electrical problem. Now, I'm really curious because I asked a question in the video. Would you guys have approached this call differently? Because yes, if I would have got my insulation tester and I would have tested insulation, maybe I would have seen that problem before I got to the point that I did, right? I went through, tested no power at the unit, found a tripped motor starter downstairs, reset the motor starter with the motor off on the roof, came upstairs, tested for direct shorts to ground, didn't see any, turned it on, and then it shorted to ground. So it didn't have a direct short to ground, but it had broken insulation, and the electrical wire more than likely was super close to the metal. And when it turned on, the electricity jumped and arced to ground and tripped it, but it didn't trip it when we tested with the continuity tester, basically. Okay, so you know, in hindsight, probably should have got the insulation tester out, but I don't always do that kind of stuff. Probably need to get in a better habit of it, because in theory we would have found this problem. And like I mentioned in the video, what could have happened is we could have potentially, I thought it was a main breaker, and I said that in the video, but it actually didn't have a single breaker for all the exhaust fans. There was an individual breaker downstairs. So, but if it did have a common breaker, in theory, if I would have tripped it like I did, I could have shut down all their exhaust fans, and that could have been a problem. So in hindsight, we all make mistakes. Even I do on a daily basis. Sometimes you just get caught up in things and you don't think your way through a problem. So, you know, I'm human. I'm not perfect. I'm just a guy that knows a little bit about a lot. I do not know everything, and I'm not the best that there ever was, nor will I ever be the best that there ever is. Okay. I really appreciate you guys making it to the end of the video though. So once we found the problem, I went ahead and replaced that section of conduit, replaced the wiring, hooked it back up. All is well. Customer's happy. I did bring up to them about all the grease on the roof. They're going to create another work order so we can go out there and address that issue, which more than likely it's going to be an exhaust fan that needs to be replaced. So we'll deal with that when that time comes. I really appreciate y'all making it to the end again. Thank you so very much. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can go to my website, hvacrvideos.com, where we have merchandise available. Great way to help support the channel. But you know, the easiest way to support this channel is literally just watch these videos from beginning to end. That really is the easiest way. You can also support it via PayPal, Patreon, or YouTube channel memberships. And last but not least, if you go over to truetechtools.com, I have an affiliate program set up with them. You buy any of the tools, use my affiliate code, big picture, one word, at checkout. You can get a nice little discount on majority of the items on their website. And when that discount is applied, I get a small commission from it. So a great way to help support the channel at truetechtools.com. Again, using my affiliate code, big picture, one word. Thank you so very much, and I hope to catch you on the next one.